Welcome to the Advanced Jungle Guide. This video will cover more aspects of jungling and show you what differentiates a top-level jungler from your average jungler. If you are new to jungling, feel free to check out my beginner jungle guide before coming here. With that said, let's get into it. The first aspect to become a great jungler is all about tracking. Did you know that it is possible to perfectly predict where the enemy jungle is in the first 5 minutes of the game just by seeing them once? The secret is knowing which side they started. When you see their starting camp, most junglers would go for the best pathing, which is to full clear and rush level 5 for a stronger gank or better scaling. One indicator to give an idea which camp they are is by looking at yourself. Assuming you both started on the blue buff, whatever camp you're currently clearing is where the enemy jungler is as well. For example, while clearing the Gromp, the opposing jungler is also clearing the same camp on the other side. What if we started at blue and the opponent is at the red side? To be able to track correctly, it is still the same logic, but instead of opposites, it is now parallel to your position. Once you clear one side and go to the next, the opponent would also be at that same side. So be prepared to contest once a scuttle spawns. Take note that the full clear is about 2 minutes and the second spawn of jungle camps is at the 220 to 230 mark. You could also check your own camps once they spawned, which will most likely mean that the enemy camps have just spawned as well. This means that if there are no gankable lanes, you would be able to track down their jungler and assume that they are doing the second round of clears. With this information, there are a lot of things that you could do. The first is pumping your laners closest to where the enemy jungler is for a possible gank. Another is going for a gank yourself or a counter gank, and last is invading the enemy jungler. Once you know how to track them properly, the next step is knowing where they started. There are a few ways of knowing this, and the most traditional and easiest way is your laner warding the enemy jungle camp. Depending on what time they show up on the camp would give you an idea where they started. Another guaranteed way to know where they started is by taking the Scryer's bloom near the raptor camp. Hitting the Scryer towards the enemy blue buff would instantly know where they started. If the blue is already taken, it means that they started on the blue side, and if it is not, then it means they started on the red side and are currently pathing towards the blue buff. The last indicator if there is no advanced ward or scryers is by the scuttle crab. Most of the time, the scuttle that the enemy jungler takes is the side where they're currently at because it would not be efficient to clear the scuttle on the same side where they started. Of course, this will not always be 100% accurate because sometimes the opponent goes for an early gank, invade, or some unorthodox pathing instead of full clearing. The next technique that high-rank junglers do a lot is all about split pushing. This happens after the 7-minute 30-second mark when the jungle penalty is removed. Once the minions give full golden XP, always try to clear the side lane whenever possible, especially when playing a carry jungler. This is the secret to why top-tier junglers always have a lot of gold. The only exception is if your team is playing well, it is better to give the side gold to your team and invade instead. If your team is on the losing side and your carries are not doing well, this is the best time to focus on farming the side lanes. The logic of this is that it is better to have all the gold to yourself and carry the game than to give it to your teammate, especially if they are not playing well. This is important because as long as you have similar or more gold than the richest opponent, it would give you the highest percentage play to win the game. This is why the meta is currently oriented towards fast clear junglers because you would be able to full clear and side lane at the same time. The best way to split push safely is when the dragon spawns and it is a low chance for your team to win a fight. The best solution for this is to go for the side lane instead and get guaranteed golden experience compared to contesting, and if your team loses the fight, they fall behind even more. The gold you get is more important than the dragon unless it is soul point. The last essential fundamental is all about positioning. This is applicable to all roles because if you're the most fed member of the team, one mistake, especially in the late game, can easily turn the game around. I have witnessed so many comeback games where the most fed member dies and the other team gets Baron, bounties, and possible Elder, which nullifies all of the early lead that a team has gotten, no matter how big. The most common complaint is that people are saying they are ultra fed but still lost, and this is one of the reasons why. Even if you are carrying, if you have a high death count, then you are giving the opponents shutdowns, time to scale, and even possible objectives. This is why most of the high-rank junglers have low number of deaths to prevent these things from happening, especially since they have the most gold. And these are the 3 most crucial aspects that separates a good jungler from the best junglers. If you have any questions or additional tips, feel free to comment down below. If you learned a thing or two and would like more guides, consider subscribing to the channel. That is it for me. Thanks for watching and peace out. Ciao ciao. Bye.